In early November 2005, a trucker pulls up to a cafeteria in northern Saskatchewan. Exhausted from a hard day's work, the man is excited to grab a warm meal. When he enters, he takes a seat at the front of the counter. He then looks to his left and sees a young man holding a few photos. After a closer look, the trucker sees the photos are of two wolf pups. "They're cute," the trucker mutters. The young man looks over to him and flashes a kind smile. "Yeah, they are. These little guys kept following me when I was going for a walk." The trucker's demeanor quickly changed. "If I were you, I would quit going for those walks of yours. Where there's pups, I'm sure their parents aren't too far off." The young man smiled and assured the trucker he would be fine. After a bit of arguing, the trucker decided to relent and leave it be. Unfortunately for the young man, the trucker was right, and in just a few days, his life would be taken by the very wolves he loved. Hello, my name is Joseph Palmer, and today I wanted to dive into the tragic and disturbing case of Kenton Joel Carnagie, a 22-year-old man who was eaten alive by a pack of hungry wolves. Now, please note, I will be discussing how the man was killed, so if this isn't for you, and trust me, I get it, please consider checking out other videos on my channel, as I hope you'll at least find a few that will catch your interest. Now, without further ado, let's dive into the life and death of Kenton Joel Carnagie. Kenton was born on February 11th, 1983 in Ajax, Ontario. And ever since he was a child, he loved being outdoors, going for long walks and being surrounded by nature. Kenton was also an avid music lover, and had aspirations of being an artist. Kenton was a free spirit who was always up to something. Kenton's father, Kim, told journalists, quote, "He was the kind of kid that, when he sat down at the TV, he would be flicking the channels all the time, and doing a puzzle at the same time. He was just a dynamic kid. But a very sensitive kid, though. A very sensitive kid." As he got older, another love entered his life. Kenton decided he wanted to become an engineer, and enrolled in geological engineering at the University of Waterloo. Kenton excelled in school, earning good grades and making friends. And in his third year, the young man took on a co-op opportunity at Sander Geophysics, a survey company at Point's North Landing, a mining camp about 750 kilometers north of Saskatoon. The camp was rural and far from town. However, Kenton didn't mind. He would take daily walks in the woods and enjoy the setting he was in. However, reports say Carnegie had been warned about wolves being spotted in the area, and it was not safe to be out there all alone. Kenton took these warnings into consideration, but believed he would be safe, just like he had always been. The day before the tragic event, Kenton called home and told his mom that wolves had been spotted in the area, but he did not personally see one himself. The two talked for a bit longer before Kenton and his mother said their goodbyes. The next day at around 5:30, Carnegie asked his field officer, Chris Van Glader, if he could go for a walk. He wasn't planning to be gone long, and there was still some daylight left. His goal was to be back by 7 p.m. for supper. When 7 p.m. came, and Carnegie had not returned, People began to worry, and by 7:30, a search for the missing 22-year-old began. The camp's co-owner, Mark Eichel, drove out in a truck with Van Glatter and Sarvikov, searching for him. Carnegie's tracks were followed to the lakeshore. Upon noticing wolf tracks on the shore, the three searchers went back for a rifle before continuing. A few minutes later, Kenton's body was found. Upon closer look, one of the men noticed multiple wolf tracks around the body. We were cleaning up and taking care of the young man when we started to hear them howl, and it was just too close for comfort for me. It felt as if I would reach over and touch the one on my left. It just seemed like he was so close, and I could hear the rest of them, and it sounded like 4 or 5, like calling to each other. Rosaline Sawney Burrath, the province's local coroner who had arranged the removal of Carnegie's body, gave a hypothetical reconstruction of what happened. Her reconstruction was based on tracks of people and animals she observed near the site of the attack, the day after the event occurred. She speculated that Carnegie had walked from the camp, and by the time he was a kilometer away, a wolf began to follow his tracks. One wolf stalked Carnegie from the forest, and another stalked him from the lake. Bootprints in the snow showed that Carnegie quickened his pace as 2 more wolves approached him from the sides. The first apparent struggle occurred 7 feet from where the chase began. 4 more scuffle sites were found, leading to where the body was discovered. Burseth believed that Carnegie probably fought hard before finally succumbing to his injuries. 3 days after Carnegie died, 2 wolves were shot by wildlife officers with the Environmental Department. A necropsy performed at the University of Saskatchewan revealed there were bits of hair and other material in the digestive tract of at least one of the animals. The undigested material may or may not relate to the predation on a human being. Further tests were being done. One of the wolves was described as black and white, fat, well-muscled, and weighing 46 kilograms. There was no rabies. The wolf was perfectly healthy, which shocked researchers. They believed that the attacks must have either come from an injured or sick wolf to target Kenton, but they weren't. And these findings worried investigators that the wolves would begin to target humans. With the death of Kenton, other wolf and bear encounters in the area started to come to light. 10 months prior to Carnegie's death, a lone wolf attacked a 55-year-old uranium miner named Fred, who was jogging home from work in Key Lake. He wrestled with it until his colleagues arrived. They scared the wolf away and took Fred to a nearby medical facility. On November 4, 2005, one naturalist reviewed photographs taken during an incident, in which wolves were said to have menaced 2 people walking in the woods. People believe the wolves' lack of fear was due to their proximity to humans. There is a bit of controversy surrounding Kenton's death. Kenton's parents believed he was not warned about the potential dangers of being out in the woods, while others claimed he not only knew about the risks, but was actively warned not to go out on his own. According to a trucker who said he met Carnegie in the cafeteria a few days before his death, said he passed around close-range photographs of large wolf pups that approached him during his walks in the nearby woods. On the day he died, his bush pilot warned him not to go out in the woods, and invited him to play hockey in the airport's hangar. But Carnegie disregarded the warning. Carnegie was a kind and adventurous man who loved the wild. Unfortunately, he ignored the warnings given to him and paid the ultimate price. Although they seem cute and remind us of our own pets, wolves are extremely dangerous and proficient hunters. And if you are warned about wolves in your area, it's best to heed those warnings, or you may end up like Kenton and others who were killed in the very wilderness they loved.